So a lot of people ask me about this saying that I utilize a lot, which is put your own oxygen mask on first. And it's such a simple statement, but when you really kind of dive deep into it, it's such a powerful notion. I'm sure you've been on a plane and the first thing they do right in that safety briefing is they talk about, the cabin pressure drops, the oxygen mask is going to drop, put your own oxygen mask on first prior to assisting anybody else with their oxygen mask. Duh, common sense. But then when you take that and you apply it into your own personal life, how often do you put your own oxygen mask on first? Like let's be really honest, right? Like let's ask ourselves that hard-hitting question. How often do you put your own oxygen mask on first? 99% of the time, you're not even in your own top 3 list of priorities, and maybe not even in your own top 10. Whether you're married, whether you have children, whether you have dogs, whether you have a high stress job, family, it doesn't matter. Most people are raised that if you take care of you and you prioritize yourself and your well-being, your mental, your emotional, your physical, your spiritual health and well-being, you're selfish. But then you have to think of it this way. If you're taking care of everybody else and that cabin pressure is dropping, and the oxygen is starting to get smaller and smaller in that plane, and you put on everybody else's oxygen mask on, how well are you going to do when you start to run out of oxygen? And see, we don't live this lifestyle of taking care of everybody else before us just for like a day or two or a couple of hours. It's a 24/7, 365 decades. For some people, it's been decades. But how good are you when you don't take care of you? So I'll use the example of like law enforcement. All right, law enforcement, super high stress job, right? Adrenaline pumping and dumping. And for 20, 25 years, you're living this lifestyle where you're super hyper vigilant. You're continuously, paying attention what's going on around you, right? You're always waiting for like that shoe to drop. You're not sleeping. You're not on a regular shit. You're not a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 schedule. You're sometimes working 7 days a week, 12, 16 hours, days in and days out. You only got 24 hours in a day. So if you're working 16, you're not really left with much, right? And now all of a sudden, bam, right? You're counting down, you get to that retirement, you're like, woohoo, I'm done. But yet you're not. Because all of those different habits that have been ingrained in you and living that life for that last 10, 15, 20, 25 years, they're not going anywhere. This is now your state of existence. And this is why in law enforcement, they have that 5-year stigma where within 5 years of retirement, most law enforcement officers either die due to some type of illness or complication, or they get very, very ill. So then the question is, are you now living a life and is your trajectory of how you're existing without putting your own oxygen mask on when you get ready to retire and you're getting ready to cruise your life away or travel or maybe just sleep in on Florida, whatever it is that you need? How's that life going to really look for you when you're 60 and you're 70, let alone when you're 80 or if you're 90? Because if you're not taking care of yourself now, why do you think you're going to start taking care of yourself when you get to be of that age, or you're going to even be able to take care of yourself at that age?